In 2021, the world went crazy with NFTs. More than $24,900 million were moved in digital transactions, buying and selling images, videos, and even tweets that promised to be unique and unrepeatable. A single JPEG file, created by a digital artist named Beeple, it sold for $69.3 million at a Christie's auction. Yes, you read that right. $69 million for an image that anyone could download for free from the internet. It was the peak of the fever. Celebrities like Eminem, Paris Hilton, and even Snoop Dogg jumped on the bandwagon, showing off their digital avatars as if they were gold trophies. But fast forward to 2026, and the outlook is bleak. More than 95% of those NFT collections that were once worth fortunes, now they are not worth a penny. Transaction volume plummeted by 97% in just months during the collapse, and the cumulative market fell by 99% from its peak in 2023, leaving only a few hundred million in residual value. Scams, speculative bubbles, and unfulfilled promises turned to hype into a digital cemetery, with signs of a slight recovery in January 2026, but nothing that comes close to the original boom. What the hell happened? How did something that seemed like the future of wealth become one of the biggest crowd scams of the decade? Why did so many lose everything while others left laughing on the way to the bank? Stay until the end of this episode, because I'm going to reveal to you who really got rich from this digital bubble, and I warn you, they are not what you think. Not the influencers with their bored monkeys, nor casual speculators. It's a lesson every entrepreneur should learn before they fall for the next fad. Get ready, because the truth behind NFTs is going to change how you see business forever.
What the hell was an NFT? Have you ever wondered what the heck an NFT was, and why did it generate so much noise? Let's break it down in a simple way, without getting into complicated codes or technical jargon that makes you yawn. Imagine an NFT as a unique digital stamp. Yes, something like those rare stamps that fans collect, but in the virtual world. It's not the image itself, nor the video, nor the file that anyone can copy with a right click. What makes an NFT special is a digital certificate etched on a blockchain that proves that you are the original owner. It's like having a title deed to something intangible, unalterable, and unrepeatable. But wait, NFTs were not just digital art. Of course, they started with extravagant drawings and pixelated collages, but they quickly became so much more. For many, they were a pure speculative bet, like buying volatile stocks expecting the price to skyrocket overnight. Others saw them as entrance tickets to exclusive communities, promises of VIP access to events, private networks, or even real-world benefits, such as discounts on luxury brands or invitations to celebrity parties. People didn't just buy art, bought the dream of belonging to something great, of being part of a digital revolution that would change everything. Sounds tempting? Of course, especially when you saw stories of guys who invested a few hundred and came away with millions. But this didn't start as a master plan, but as a geek experiment in the dark corners of the internet, where programmers played with crazy ideas that no one took seriously.
The roots, digital cats, and obsessed programmers. Let's go back to the year 2017, when the crypto world was still a wild territory, populated by obsessed programmers and eccentric visionaries. No one imagined that a simple game of digital cats was going to unleash chaos and planting the seeds of a multi-billion-dollar revolution. It all started with CryptoKitties, a crazy experiment launched in December of that year by a team of Canadian developers called Axiom Zen. Imagine this: digital collectibles in the shape of adorable cats, each one unique, generated by algorithms on the Ethereum blockchain. They weren't just images, they were assets that you could breed, buy, and sell, as if they were virtual pets on steroids. The hype was immediate. In a matter of days, thousands of users went on the hunt for these pixelated felines, collapsing the Ethereum network completely. Yes, you heard that right. The blockchain, that technology that promised to be indestructible, slowed down to the point that transactions cost a fortune in fees, and they took hours to process. It was as if a massive traffic jam on the digital highway had paralyzed everything. But that didn't stop the fans. Ridiculous sales started piling up, with digital cats reaching absurd prices. One of them, a legendary dragon, sold for 600 ETH, which at that time were equivalent to more than $172,000. By a drawing of a cat? Exactly. It was the first sign that people were willing to pay fortunes for digital scarcity, driven by novelty and FOMO, that irrational fear of being left out. In the meantime, in the shadows of New York, two entrepreneurs, Devin Finzer and Alex Atala, they were throwing something that seemed insignificant at first: OpenSea, a platform to buy and sell these digital assets, also born in December of 2017. At the beginning, it only had a few hundred users, mostly geeks and early adopters who played with CryptoKitties and other weird experiments. There was no glamour or celebrities, just a basic marketplace built on top of Ethereum, betting that these non-fungible tokens could be the future. But here is the angle that few tell. OpenSea wasn't chasing the fast hype. While the world laughed at digital cats, they prepared the silent base of the boom. They invested in tools to make transactions easy. They integrated wallets and created an open ecosystem where anyone could list their creations. No one paid attention to them. Traditional investors ignored them, but Finzer and Atala were betting on the long term. They knew that if they built the infrastructure, the market would come by itself. It was like selling shovels in the gold rush without getting his hands dirty looking for nuggets. And boy, were they right, because what started as a geek game, it would soon become a global storm, driven by something that no one saw coming: the pandemic.
Pandemic, the perfect broth for digital delirium. Advances to the year 2020, and the world stops in its tracks. The COVID-19 pandemic hits like a tsunami, forcing billions to lock themselves in their homes, working from sofas, and looking for any escape from the endless monotony. Governments inject trillions in economic stimulus, checks for $1,400 in the United States, subsidies in Europe, money that flows like water, straight to the bank accounts of boring people, anxious and with plenty of time. What do you do when you're stuck at home, with fresh cash in his pocket, and the stock market looks like a volatile casino? You jump into digital speculation, of course. Cryptocurrencies were already hot, but NFTs, those non-fungible tokens that we had seen born with cats and geeky experiments, suddenly they become the new vice. It was perfect. It didn't require going out. Just one click, and you could invest in digital art, collectibles, or whatever promised to multiply your money while watching Netflix. And then, catalysts appear that change everything. In October of 2020, NBA Top Shot emerges, a platform created by Dapper Labs, where fans buy digital moments of epic basketball plays, like a LeBron James dunk, certified as unique on the blockchain. It wasn't just a video, it was an asset, and the hype explodes. In months, generates more than 700 million in sales, attracting millions of new users, many of them newbies to crypto, seduced by the idea of collecting as in the old sticker albums, but with millionaire resale potential. But the real turning point came in March of 2021 with Beeple, digital artist Mike Winkelmann, whose work every days, the first 5,000 days, a massive collage of daily images, is auctioned at Christie's, one of the most prestigious art houses in the world, for $69.3 million. Boom! Suddenly, NFTs go from being a geeky joke to something legitimate. Official brands like Nike, Coca-Cola, and even the NBA get involved, launching its own collections. Auction houses such as Sotheby's and Christie's, who had sold Picasso's paintings for centuries, now they endorsed these digital files, giving them an aura of credibility that no one questioned. It was the perfect illusion, the real world validating the virtual, attracting institutional investors, and making it seem like a historic opportunity. But it wasn't just art, it was a cultural movement, or so it seemed.
Celebrities, exclusive clubs, and gold monkeys. And suddenly, the world of NFTs is transformed into a spectacle of glamour and exclusivity. We are at the peak of 2021, when a collection called Bored Ape Yacht Club, or Bay AYC for the initiated, becomes the ultimate digital status symbol.
Imagine 10,000 avatars of bored monkeys, each with unique traits generated by algorithms, selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They weren't just images, they were VIP passes to an imaginary club, promising royal parties, collaborations with brands, and a community of owners who felt part of something elite. The hype accelerates when celebrities enter the scene. Influencers like Gary Vaynerchuk, singers like Justin Bieber, who paid $1,800,000 for a monkey, and actors like Jimmy Fallon, who showed off his at his nightly show. Snoop Dogg, Paris Hilton, Eminem, everyone bought NFTs as if they were the new digital Rolex. Brands like Adidas and Nike launched collaborations, making it seem inevitable. If the stars do it, why not you? But here is the angle that explains the delirium, the psychology of FOMO, that irrational fear of missing out on something big. Everyone is winning, why not me? It was a mental virus spread by social networks where you saw stories of common guys selling their apes for fortunes, multiplying investments in weeks. It didn't matter if you didn't understand blockchain or if the art looked like a childish doodle. FOMO was pushing you, buy now or stay out forever. This was not new. It was a repetition of historical manias. Remember the tulip fever in Holland in the 17th century, when flower bulbs were sold for the price of a mansion, only to collapse into ruins? Or the Beanie Babies in the 90s, stuffed animals that were worth thousands until the bubble burst, leaving useless collections in attics. Even the dot-coms of the late 90s, where companies without profits were worth billions before the crash. NFTs followed the same pattern: irrational hype, artificial scarcity, and a collective stampede. You didn't understand anything about NFTs, but you didn't want to be left out either. It was addictive, seductive, and for many, ruinous. But while the crowd was buying gold jumpsuits, others built the real empire.
Platforms, VCs, and those who sold picks and shovels. While thousands of speculators lost fortunes in NFTs, buying digital monkeys that evaporated like smoke, a silent elite amassed real riches. We are in the heart of the boom, 2021 and 22, when the NFT market was moving billions, but not everyone played the same game. Take OpenSea, that platform that had started as a geek garage in 2017. As the volume of transactions exploded, they closed millionaire rounds. In July of 2021, raised $123 million in their Series B, valuing the company at $1,500 million. But the masterstroke came in January of 2022 with a Series C of $300 million, catapulting its valuation to $13,300 million. Investors like Paradigm, Coatue, and Andreessen Horowitz injected capital, betting not on NFTs per se, but to the infrastructure that sustained them. And they were not the only ones. Startups sprouted like mushrooms in a humid forest. Tools to create, mine, and commercialize NFTs, rival marketplaces such as Rarible or LooksRare, all fed by venture capital. Funds like A16Z and Sequoia poured hundreds of millions, financing digital wallets, analytics platforms, even marketing agencies for NFT communities. It was an investment fever, with VCs collecting fees and equity, while ordinary buyers risked everything on volatile bets. Here is the angle that changes everything. The real winners of this story were not those who bought NFTs, but those who created the market so that others could do it. Not the miners dreaming of gold, but those who sold picks and shovels. Think of Levi Strauss during the gold rush in California, 1849. Thousands crossed the country, digging for nuggets, losing lives and savings. But Levi, a shrewd immigrant, he sold resistant pants, shovels, and supplies. He didn't find gold, but he built an empire that lasts to this day. Same with NFTs. While speculators were ruined, platforms like OpenSea charged commissions of 2.5% per transaction, accumulating hundreds of millions in revenue. VCs came out with massive returns, and the founders, like Finzer and Atala, they became billionaires on paper. But this dream would not last, because the fall was just around the corner. The inevitable fall, scam, collapse, and reality. And then, like all bubbles, the inevitable fall arrived. We are in 2022, when NFT transaction volume plummets by 97% in just 9 months, from a peak of 17 billion per month in January to just a few hundred million by the end of the year. The market that had moved 24,900 million in 2021 evaporated before everyone's eyes. For 2025, total sales fall to 5,630 million, 37% less than in 2024, and the global value of the NFT sector sinks to 2.5 billion, 72% below its glory days. In 2026, there are timid signs of recovery, but the daily volume is around 4 million, nothing compared to the previous frenzy. Behind this collapse, a sea of scams that poisoned everything. The wash trading, where manipulators bought and sold their own NFTs to artificially inflate prices, creating the illusion of demand. The rug pulls, projects that promised entire worlds only for the founders to disappear with the funds, leaving investors with useless tokens. And phishing, fake links that stole entire wallets, emptying millions in seconds. Scams that weren't accidents, but the dark side of an unregulated market, where the hype hit pure greed. Take the case of Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter, who sold his first tweet as an NFT for $2,900,000 in March of 2021. The buyer, an Iranian businessman, listed it again in 2022, hoping to multiply his investment. The result? The highest bid was just $7,000. Nobody wanted him. The symbol of the boom was now a cruel joke, proof of how courage vanished like smoke. And the technological promises, those grandiose visions of metaverses, real digital property, and utilities in games or events, they simply were not fulfilled. Collections that swore exclusive access ended up on abandoned servers, congested blockchains that didn't scale, and communities that dissolved into bitterness. The dream of a blockchain revolution was revealed as a speculative illusion, without a solid base. The game was over, but many had not yet realized it.
Now what? Did NFTs die, or did they just mutate? Let's move forward to 2026, where the dust of collapse settles and the truth emerges clear. NFT technology is still alive, evolving silently, but it is no longer the ticket to get rich fast. The speculative hype was deflated, leaving a more mature market with a global value of around $2.5 billion and timid signs of recovery, as an increase of $220 million in early sales, driven by real projects. Today, NFTs are used as VIP tickets to events, exclusive memberships in communities, or digital certificates for real-world assets as properties, physical art, or even verified identities. Cross-chain platforms facilitate interoperability, integrating them with AI for dynamic assets, or with gaming and metaverses for immersive experiences. Without the noise of influencers, no promises of overnight fortunes, only practical utility. How to tokenize real goods for secure transfers, or access to private networks without intermediaries. The tool survives. Speculative fantasy? No. Here is the key analysis. Real utility lies in solving concrete problems, like proving immutable ownership or unlocking tangible benefits without relying on bubbles. Instead, the promise of wealth was smoke based on FOMO and manipulation that enriched a few while ruining many. In 2026, with stricter regulations and institutional adoption, NFTs mutate towards sustainability, not euphoria. But this lesson brings us to closure, where we reveal the real winners.
The real lesson: gold rush winners. And we come to the end, the real lesson that all this leaves us. In each mania, the pattern repeats itself. A few make history, many lose money, and a few make a fortune by selling them the dream. NFTs were no different, a digital fever that dragged millions along, promising easy wealth, but leaving ruins for the majority. For entrepreneurs, the key is clara. Build platforms. Don't chase manners. Don't be the one digging for gold. Be the one who sells the tools. Focus on durable infrastructure, ecosystems that survive the hype and captures real long-term value. That's what separates the losers from the real winners. And as we promised in the hook, here is the bonus that reveals the unpublished truth.
who did get rich with NFTs. First, OpenSea, which reached a valuation of $13,300 million in 2022, and in 2025 generated more than $30 million per month in income, with a token launch in 2026 that promises 50% revenue for buybacks. Its founders, Devin Finzer and Alex Atala, they accumulated fortunes in equity, estimated in billions, while charging commissions for each transaction. Then, Yuga Labs, creators of Bored Ape Yacht Club, who raised $450 million in 2022, valuing the company at $4 billion. In 2021, reported $127 million in net profits, and in 2025, they maintained that valuation, with founders like Wiley Aronow and Greg Solano coming out as billionaires. And Beeple, Mike Winkelmann, that he sold his work for $69 million, netting about $58 million after fees, plus additional sales such as one of $29 million in 2025, adding up to more than $100 million in total. Its net worth is around $50 million in 2026. In contrast, ordinary investors lost 95% of their value, with portfolios that fell from millions to cents. NFTs did make millionaires, only they weren't the ones who uploaded their monkeys to Twitter. They were the ones who sold the Marco to hang them. If this story impacted you, subscribe to Business Saga for more business sagas that change your view of business. Like, comment on what mania you think will be next, and share with an entrepreneurial friend. See you in the next episode.